Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. Focusing in on the narcissist personality disorder and really dealing with the difficult side of their irrationality and proneness to argumentation. The narcissist, because of their need and their insatiable need to be constantly the one in control, the one seeking the attention, the one who's constantly the center and the focus of attention, admiration, control, power, because they constantly need to be in this position, jacking up really kind of the focal point of most and all interactions, especially with family members, business associates. They're very prone to irrationality and very argumentative, argumentative, argumentative. So they will really be very argumentative, even when a situation does not call for it. They will lie when a situation does not call for it. There's no need for them to lie, but they will perpetuate a pathological sort of chronic chaos, crazy making, and brainwashing just to really stir up the pot, just to cause more strife, just to cause a rift. If things are, going along smoothly and they're not being attended to, the focus of attention is not on them, they will essentially kick it up a notch and incite arguments and be extremely irrational. And why do they perpetuate this hostility? Well, it's a nature of a toxic and pathological thinking pattern. So this person who has an irrational and insatiable need to be at the center of attention really all the time. I mean, it's just something that they don't let up on. It's not something that they ever kind of dismiss. It's not something that they are content with. They have a chronic discontent. They have a constant need to perpetuate this feeling and need to be superior. So quite exhausting, perhaps, who knows, but it is a driving force in their life. And so if you are a family member close to them, a business associate, you're going to be constantly incited by their anger, by their hostility, by their need to be the one in control. I mean, even of the smallest and littlest of things. It can be the way you tie a garbage bag. It can be the way that you sit on a chair. It can be the way that you put a cup. It can be the littlest of things that they're going to criticize, condemn, irrationally argue over because it's not, according to them, what's looking right, or they're not in the center of attention. So if you're bringing up a normal sort of opinion or comment about a movie, a news story, you're not going to be able to essentially provide that without getting roughed up. Really, for either their side might be a little bit different. They might say, well, you don't know this or you don't know that. So even if you're relaying something that has to do with reality or real life or your personal experience, they can, essentially immediately shoot that down because they need to constantly be the one in the spotlight. They need to be the one in the limelight. They need to be the superior one. And they need to let you know that constantly. So, they're not going to let you forget who they are or what they're about. So it's very difficult to have a conversation with them without getting caught up in their argumentative side. And this really is a very irrational need for them to be constantly in control, constantly in a center of attention, and constantly that they are the one who's right. So, it really does, for those who have been chronically involved with them for a long period of time, you're constantly either battling up against them, confronting them, having to explain and justify yourself, your opinion. You're getting caught up in that cycle of, defending yourself or having a viewpoint in general, which generally is not accepted. Your viewpoint, they will, perhaps seek a viewpoint, but not just a normal conversation. because they're going to rally against you for whatever reason. And if you're more of a threat to them, then the more the hostility. If you are vying for a position of power or presence, even, it doesn't even have to be power. It can just be a positive presence that's really going to incite a very sort of hostile and confrontational, critical side from them, because they realize you're coming from a different space, and they're very threatened by that. They see that, perhaps you're connected into something that they're not connected into. So this is perceived as a threat, just because you've got a different viewpoint that could be of some merit, and they can't give light to that because they're very vulnerable. It incites a feeling of their insecurity, and really their void, and whether it's based in their childhood and they've submerged it. Either way, what's important to realize is that they have an irrational need to be in the center of attention, and they're going to really kind of lash out and be very abusive, emotionally abusive, oftentimes physically abusive to people, especially when they're younger, to keep them down, to keep them submissive, to keep them shut up, basically, to keep them voiceless, to keep them really without their own presence or their own identity. So if you've encountered this, realize, of course, no contact is the best and ultimate way of handling them, but you can just really come from a very position of neutrality, indifference, and do not react. Just let their comments go. Just let it slide off your back. This is oftentimes called the gray rock method, where you just let it slide, or you just seem not interested. Just let them go. Just let them be in their own cycle. Essentially, they're only having a battle with themselves. So don't engage with them whatsoever. Do not match their energy. Do not come back with response, yelling, justifying and defending yourself. Just let them go, and just remove yourself from the situation when possible. Just don't even interact with them, because it's going to be fruitless for you. It's just going to cause you more strife, more anxiety, if you perpetuate and feed into that crazy making cycle. So just really learn to step back and remain very objective, very fact-based, very little sort of input into those sort of argumentative conversations, because they're going to create arguments where none is necessary, just so that they can remain in the center of attention. And if you realize this and become aware of it, really then with that knowledge, you can identify what it is and stop feeding into it and protect yourself. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.